SWD, serial number 8600217444.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearm agents routinely inventory their growing arsenal of guns. All the guns in this room have been seized from criminals in the Omaha area. ATF agents seized this 9mm submachine gun from a man attempting to sell it in an alley in North Omaha.
They had the firearms in the trunk of their vehicle, and they were offering them for sale to some gang members in North Omaha, and the sale or the transaction was intercepted before it was finalized.
Most of the weapons are taken during drug raids. Agents alone seized all these rifles and guns during the recent Hells Angels drug bust.
The transaction and the trade in these type weapons are becoming more common and as casual as the drug trade itself.
A lot of the guns the ATF confiscates are used by criminals to intimidate, but the guns are deadly. They can kill quickly.
Probably 700 to 800 rounds per minute can go through that gun.
The agency recently was awarded a grant that will soon expand their gun storage room. Grant money will also be used to hire more agents. Valentech says Omaha's gun problem is directly related to gang activity. For Newswatch 7 at 6, I'm Molly Miller. Abandoned Prayers is the name of the book that chronicles the life of Eli Stutzman and his 10-year-old son, Danny. Danny's body was found along a highway near Chester on Christmas Eve, 1985. The book is dedicated to the dead boy and to the chief investigator in the case, Thayer County Sheriff Gary Young.
Yeah, I think the main reason was that for some reason he's got the perception that if it hadn't been for me continuing with that nothing would have happened.
Stutzman served about 10 months in prison for abandoning his son and concealing his death. The exact cause of death remains a mystery to this day. The author Greg Olson makes it seem like Stutzman got off easy.
Do you think that?
That he got off? No, he didn't get off. He's not finished yet. Somebody said the other day something about God will sort him out.
The book touches briefly on Danny's burial. The townsfolk gave him a proper funeral and have buried him here at the cemetery in Chester. Nearly 5 years later, people still bring toys to the grave. Stutzman is now serving time in a Texas prison for murder. The book says the former Amish man is gay and has tested positive for the AIDS virus. The book describes several sexual encounters with men in detail. Stutzman advertised in gay magazines for lovers. A book review printed in the Chester newspaper gives the book an X rating.
You learn a lot more about Eli Stutzman than I think anybody around here thought was possible. And it was the kind of book that I couldn't put down, but there's probably some people that wouldn't be able to pick it up if they knew it was what they were about to read.
Remember it talks about the soccer ball? That's it.
Sheriff Young keeps a reminder of Danny in his office, an old soccer ball, he says, for sentimental reasons. The case may be closed, but it's hard to forget about the little boy, Blue, especially this time of year.
Are you going to think of him this Christmas? Do you think of him every Christmas?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I suppose. A little bit.
In Chester, for Newswatch 7 at 10, I'm Molly Miller.
Now that stay is what prompted today's hearing before the Nebraska Supreme Court. Newswatch 7's Molly Miller was at the hearing, and she joins us now live from Lincoln. And Molly, what is the latest?
Well, Michael, today in court, Otey's attorney said that the death row inmate deserves a new sentencing hearing. Otey's attorney said that the inmate should be given life in prison instead of death in the electric chair. Otey's attorney says there's new evidence in his client's case. He says the facts used in sentencing Otey to death have changed. Otey was charged with some crimes in New Jersey, but has since been acquitted. And his attorney says his client deserves to be sentenced again.
They have no choice but to impose life imprisonment. They could do that right now and end this. But if they don't want to do that, at a minimum, give me my day in court with a fair sentencing hearing.
But the state says this issue has come up before and higher courts have dismissed it. The state says it's time to act.
Because there is a need to have finality. Finality in this case and any other case. You cannot litigate, relitigate, re-relitigate, re-re-re-relitigate issues.
Members of the McManus family were in court to hear the testimony. They say Otay deserves to die.
Family has grown tired of waiting so long for the punishment to be carried out.
Now, Otay was to die at midnight tonight, and of course that has been stayed. Right now they're waiting for the justices to come down with any kind of a ruling. It may come soon, it may come much later than today. They will either grant or deny a sentencing hearing, and if they deny it, then they will have to set a new execution date.
Molly, what say if this latest move by Otay fails? Does he have any other appeals left?
He does, Michael. He and his attorney can go before the Pardons Board, and if they go before the Pardons Board, they can ask that the death sentence be commuted to a life sentence. A prison official I talked to said that they expect the court to reject the hearing and have Otay go to the Pardons Board and then go through that appeals process, and eventually they say that Otay will probably be executed sometime early this spring.
All right, Molly, we will be checking back with you throughout the evening. Thank you.
Okay.
Carol.
Family and friends give Mike Nickman a warm homecoming after his 4 months of captivity in Iraq. Good evening. The day he thought would never come is here. Mike Nickman is home with his family tonight.
The Valmont worker landed in Grand Island this afternoon, one day after leaving Iraq. Newswatch 7's Molly Miller and photographer Jeff Froley were there. Molly joins us live from our Lincoln Bureau with this exclusive report. And Molly, I guess we had a really happy family out there.
Oh, we did, Michael. Definitely a very happy one, but also a very exhausted traveler, too. Now, Nickman, again, was over in Baghdad, actually north of Baghdad, working for Valmont. He's an irrigation specialist, and he was to come home actually last weekend, but he needed some signatures for his exit visa. It actually took a couple of days to do that, and tonight was the night that he finally got to come home. Former Iraqi hostage Mike Nickman got off his company's jet feeling numb. The jet picked him up in New York to bring him home to Grand Island to see his family. He's been a hostage in Iraq for nearly 5 months.
Yeah, it was really boring, but I was nervous. I don't know, you had a lot of anger and a lot of different feelings. You know, it's not easy going through that type of a thing, so.
Nickman was held hostage at the U.S. ambassador's house in Baghdad. He said he was treated well there, and he says he even gained some weight. But Nickman said others fared worse.
I had a few friends, though, that were captured and taken to sites. I did get to see them a couple nights ago, and they looked terrible. One guy lost 90 pounds, one guy lost 25, and they looked terrible.
Nickman said he thought he might die in Iraq, but as time went on, those thoughts faded. He says the Iraqi people seem split in their support for their leader, Saddam Hussein.
They're really misinformed. They really don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people sick of the war. They didn't want to go back into this again. I don't know what's going to happen for sure. There's a lot of high-up people, though. They're very unhappy, so.
Now, Nickman also said at times that where they were staying, they could hear gunfire, heavy machinery, artillery shells going off. He says it was those nights that no one slept very well. We should also mention, too, that Tom LaTrenta, who's also a Valmont employee, is home with his family tonight in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He was on that flight with Mike Nickman. They dropped him off on their way to Grand Island.
Molly, I know this may be a little soon, but did Mike give any clue as to what his future plans are?
Well, he said that he actually doesn't have to go back to work until the first of the new year. His bosses are giving him that time to spend with family and friends. He says he has a lot of catching up to do. He says he wants some home cooking and a chance to have a good night's sleep, and I'm sure he's going to be getting that rest tonight.
All right, Molly, good job to you and photographer Jeff Froley.
Thanks.
Thank you. Another Nebraskan held in Kuwait is still in Washington, D.C. Good evening, everyone. Well, if you weren't at work today, chances are you were shopping most of the day.
The day after Christmas is usually one of the biggest retail days of the year, and if you drove by 72nd and Dodge, you could see how many people were out spending their Christmas money. Inside most stores, the Christmas section was the busiest as people snatched up Christmas bargains they can use next year. And the return sections of the store were also busy. Shoppers at this Target store bought back gifts for a number of reasons.
The gift that they didn't like, some of the people are maybe a little short on cash, so they decide that right now it's not quite worth what they thought it'd be worth. You do have a certain amount of defectives, and we generally try to please customers, so we honor anything regardless.
Our Molly Miller is out at the Westroads. And Molly, I tried to get to work on 72nd today. It was terrible. Have things calmed down at all?
Well, you know, out here at Westroads, you can see there are actually quite a few cars out here, so I'm sure there's still a lot of customers inside. And as people even get off work today, I'm sure they'll come out and do some shopping or make some exchanges. You know, most of the malls really made a lot of their money in the days prior just to Christmas, and again, today was a very, very good day for them. A reported 40,000 customers were in each of the major malls over the Christmas holiday weekend. That's a lot of shoppers, and that translates to a lot of dollars.
So they were smiling?
Oh, definitely smiling. In fact, we talked to a manager at Yonkers and also to the manager at Target, and they said both had actually hit their sales projections. So a very Merry Christmas for them, and it appears an economic, downturn really hasn't seemed to affect the Christmas sales, at least no sign of that yet.
Well, thank goodness we are insulated to some degree to what's happening on both coasts. I appreciate that, Molly. Get in and get warm. Thank you.
Okay.
Michael.
The 1st Nebraska National Guard Unit